very glad to have one of the most active, I think one can say that without a doubt, most active members of the community with me, GMP. Welcome. Glad you could join me.
Yeah. Hello everyone. So I'm GMP. Like Toka said, I basically spam the pub Discord the most.
That sounds about right. Okay, so maybe to start off with a question that goes into the past a bit. Do you remember your first, the first memory related to the Prince of Persia series at all? Not in terms of speedrunning, but just the games in general.
So basically, the first Prince of Persia game that I played was Warrior Within. It was in 2012. Like someone in my neighborhood bought the game and we played it together basically. And like like we would used to take turns to play the game, and I realized I was the one who enjoyed it the most. So later, my birthday was also coming up, so my parents bought me T2T, and then I also played Sands of Time later. Like I understand it's like a weird order to play the games, but I mean it's also kind of fitting because there is mention of Sands of Time at the end of T2T. So yeah, that
Right.
was the first time I.
Okay. So you're one of the, I think one of the many people from the community who started with the Sans trilogy. How did you, or maybe to put it differently, what was your favorite Prince of Persia game before you started speedrunning? Like, was it Warrior Within because it was the first one, or did any of the others catch you more when you played them?
So I think casually Warrior Within was really interesting, but it also confused me a lot. But uh, after seeing like since it's a semi-open world and how broken the speedrun is, I think it only increased my affinity to the game. You can say, yeah, like it has always been Warrior for me,
Okay.
even though I don't run it very actively.
Right. Fair. Um, but then again, there's of course a difference between casual and speedrunning in terms of favorites. Um, so maybe related to that, how did you find out about Prince of Persia speedrunning? How did you start like getting connected to the community?
Yeah, so I think this is like a well-known funny story within the community. So in about 2017-18, I would say, like I was very actively searching YouTube for any Prince of Persia content that I could find. And Wine and Catus, Warrior Within runs, Erasers, T2T runs, like those were one of the videos that stuck to me as the videos that I enjoyed. And I I thought like there were like one or two people playing this game after 15 years. That's it. And it was really shocking for me to find that there's an entire community of
Yeah.
people who are dedicated to rooting it. And yeah, and I found speedrun.com first, I think, and then I found the Discord link later, and it was really cool.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine. Like this is like it's not really obscure, but there's not super well-known game series from like first released 15 years ago, and suddenly you find out there's a lot of people who still do a lot of cool stuff with these games, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
um, so then you found out about Prince of Persia speedrunning like that, as you mentioned. You also started running Prince of Persia around the same time, I think.
Yeah, so actually, when I joined the Discord, I have to admit that I had zero plans of running anything myself, and I still think that my role in the community, so to say, is not about like running the game and setting world records and all that. And I think what I find cool is that like try to be part of the community and see is stuff get found, glitches get found, strategies get found, and things like
Mm,
that.
right. So it's
Yeah,
more about the so it's about the world record progression and more about the technique progression in a
yeah,
way.
exactly.
I see. So what like can you pick a favorite when it comes to techniques or skips from Prince of Persia speedrunning? It's a
Uh,
hard question, I guess. There's a lot of cool stuff, but
yeah, like
or like
there
top
are
three or
there are a
something.
lot of things, and
Yeah.
maybe it will be a bit easier to pick one per game, but I'll try to find one.
Okay. Or you can make like a top three or something. It's as you wish.
Uh, I think Drunken Bird is obviously one of my favorites because it was found, I think, right after I joined the community, and it's also like I think the biggest NMG skip in the whole trilogy or something,
Yeah.
maybe even the whole franchise. So that's undoubtedly one of the things.
Right.
And
Quickly for those unaware, Drunken Bird is a skip in where you basically wall jump off a bird and skip a lot of the game. So it's a good pick. Yeah. Sorry. Any other mentions of yours?
yeah, and I would also say Windmill, like the mechanical tower skip in again in Warrior. I mean, I'm so biased towards Warrior. Yeah, so that skip is that was also found like right after Drunken Bird. Like it was a cool period when Warrior was getting so many discoveries. So these two really stuck to me. And third, I would say like it's not a single skip, but it's a technique that we recently discovered in like the retro Prince of Persia 2 game, like
Hmm?
Shadow on the Flame. It's a wall clipping glitch, and it's so easy to do that it's kind of absurd how we didn't find it for so long. Perhaps it's because the game wasn't exactly very active, you can say, but it's such an easy technique, and you can just basically it's as if there are no walls in the game, basically.
Right.
So that was a really cool glitch. I think these three are one of my favorite tricks, so to say, in the game series.
Okay, that's cool. So maybe as a final question, is there a memory that you have in mind right now related to Prince of Persia speedrunning that you hold dear? Anything you like to think back and it's like, oh, that was a nice thing that happened?
Uh, I mean, again, this has a lot of good choices.
Obviously.
Mm, like a single moment in the community that I remember.
If you want, it's kind of an open-ended question. Whatever you think was cool.
I think when we got featured in the front page of speedrun.com, it was really cool as a community. Yeah.
Right, that was. When was that? Like half a year ago? A year ago? Do you remember?
I think it was in June this year.
Right, yeah, could be around about that. So for those unaware, could you quickly explain what happened?
Yeah, so basically, speedrun.com recently had a lot of new features, one of which was a front page spotlight thing where they feature either some famous runner or like a game community. And Prince of Persia community was, I think, even one of the first spotlights that speedrun.com did. Yeah,
Mhm.
so basically, our community got a front page promotion, so to say, in speedrun.com, where they interviewed a bunch of people from the community and posted about uh, how cool stuff gets done here,
Right. Yeah.
and it was really memorable.
Yeah, it's a good pick for sure. So we just passed the 10-minute mark, which I think is a good point to say thanks a lot, GMP, for your time and your answers,
Yeah,
your insights. And
thank you for having me.
yeah, thanks to you. And I guess we can get on with the next run, whatever that